Hello, I am Jill Baird, and my two companions are Charlie and Fiona. Thank you so much for joining me today for this 10-minute yoga-focused shoulder stretch. So it's a little different than a traditional yoga flow in that we're going to be working with a timer. We have 10 stretches that we're going to do, 10 postures. And we're going to be performing each for 55 seconds with 5 seconds to transition safely into the next posture. You'll hear a little bell and then it'll let us know that it's time to move on. The only equipment we need is a mat. If you have trouble kneeling, you might want to grab a pillow or a yoga block if you have one nearby. But if you don't have either and kneeling is difficult for you, I will let you know an alternative way to work into those stretches. Go ahead and grab your mat, turn on any music that you enjoy listening to, and meet me back here. All right, friends, I'm going to get our timer started and we're going to make our way into a child's pose. So if you're new to this entirely, a child's pose is from a kneeling position. Bring your big toes to touch and sit your hips back onto your heels and then reach your fingertips forward. Think about opening your upper back, broadening your upper back by bringing your armpits, your underarms, towards the mat. If having your knees open wide is difficult for you, you can bring your knees into touch and just rest your hips back onto your heels. But I want you to think about opening the upper back here, giving a press into the pinky edge of each hand to guide those underarms down towards the mat, and maybe rocking your head side to side for a nice massage for your forehead, your third eye center. All right, go ahead and come up into a quadruped position, and we're going to bring our right thumb to the front of our right shoulder. Bring your elbow up towards the ceiling, and then bring your elbow down towards your wrist. So using that thumb to guide the elbow back, the shoulder back, and then bringing the elbow down. And now this time, as you bring the elbow up towards the ceiling, if you'd like to deepen the stretch, you can reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then bring the thumb back to the front of the shoulder and bring the elbow back to the left wrist. Inhaling to open, and then you being the judge of whether you can bring the hand up or not. All right, so this time we're going to bring the hand up and we're going to thread that right arm underneath the left, coming to rest on the outside of the right shoulder and very gently against the temple on the right. You can walk the left hand straight out in front of the left shoulder, thinking once again about guiding that left underarm down towards the mat. Or for a deeper stretch, you're going to take this left hand behind your back and interlace the fingers at the front of that right hip crease, opening the front of the left shoulder as you stretch the upper back on the right here. Nice, slow, steady breaths, thinking about dragging that breath down into your belly. Okay, so we're going to do those same two moves on the left. I'm just going to flip to the opposite side here. So left thumb to the left shoulder, elbow up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, left elbow towards right wrist. Inhale. Charlie, are you sneaking that bone? Elbow towards the ceiling. And exhale, elbow towards wrist. Inhale, broadening the chest, opening through the collarbones, and then maybe extending the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Then elbow back to shoulder and elbow to wrist. So this is working on some thoracic spine mobility here, as well as opening the shoulder. All right, this time, fingertips reach towards the ceiling, left arm threads underneath the right, and the right fingertips walk either directly out in front of the right shoulder, guiding that armpit down towards the mat, or taking the right arm behind the back and tucking the fingertips at the hip crease. Drop the right shoulder down away from the ear, and then you can lengthen your head, just kind of lifting up your head and then gently setting it back down once you've found a little bit extra length in your neck. So I suppose we're actually lengthening our neck, not our head. I don't know that we could actually lengthen our head. And then peeling that right shoulder ever so gently over towards the left. All right. Go ahead and carefully press that right hand into the mat and come up. And now we're going to come into a puppy dog pose. So hips stay stacked over the knees. Lengthen the fingertips forward. And then you're going to bring either your forehead or your chin to the mat as you broaden through the upper back, bringing the armpits down towards the mat. So this is like a kneeling downward facing dog. So think about pressing your palms into the mat, and you should feel a really nice stretch in your shoulders. Hopefully your mat smells good. And then focusing on slow, steady inhales and slow, steady exhales. So matching the count of the inhale and the exhale. All right, we're going to come into a kneeling pose. So if you need to bring a pillow underneath your buns, bring a pillow underneath your buns. Extend your arms out like a T and give yourself a hug, bringing your right arm underneath your left, bending the elbows and lifting them shoulder height. And you can stay here, feeling this stretch, or if you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, you're going to cross at the elbows and the wrists, coming into eagle posture, lifting the elbows in line with the shoulders, and then imagining guiding the elbows forward as you press the palms together. So remember, the hug is always a great option. It's an eagle posture as well. If the full bind is accessible to you, then go ahead and take that full bind. It's a really deep opening in the upper back. Okay, go ahead. And we're going to stay kneeling. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here. Interlace your hands behind your back. Lift your chest. Pull your knuckles behind you to the spot where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then we're going to guide both wrists, both fists, over towards the right. So keep that left elbow hugging into the backside body. Lift your head up towards the ceiling. And if it feels good, you can drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. So feeling that nice deep stretch in the left side of your neck, as well as the chest and the shoulder. All right, we're going to do that on the left side. So arms out like a T. Give yourself a hug, left arm underneath the right. Lift the elbows in line with the shoulders. And you can stay here, drawing the elbows forward and then using that left elbow to kind of push up on the right. Or you can take the full eagle bind, crossing and compressing the elbows and the wrists and pressing the hands in towards one another. So this to me is like the ultimate upper back stretch. It feels so good in my body. If it feels terrible in your body and it's making you breathe short and choppy, or it's just making you grumpy, you're gonna come back into this gentle hug. It is the same exact stretch. Just looks a little bit different, but I promise you it does the same thing. All right, interlace your hands behind your back. Draw your knuckles to the spot where the floor and the wall meet behind you. And then we're gonna use the left hand to bring the right hand over to the left hip. And you're gonna bring that right elbow flush as you can, against your low back. And then if you'd like to allow your left ear to fall towards your left shoulder, and just find that gentle stretch in the right, that's your right ear against your right shoulder. And the stretch is in the left side of your neck. I'm mirroring you since I'm facing you, and I get my left and right confused. All right, go ahead and come up.
Activity complete.
Unbind, and then maybe just do a little open and then hug, and open and hug. I hope that you enjoyed this stretch. I hope it's left your shoulders feeling a little bit more open. Hopefully the connecting the breath and the movement, and even focusing on the depth of the breath in terms of drawing it into your belly rather than just breathing into your chest. And then matching the count of the exhale to the count of the inhale has left you feeling restored and renewed. If you're looking for traditional yoga practices, I have many yoga flows on my channel, both vinyasa flows and more restorative stretching focused flows. Go ahead and check those out, and I will see you back here next week for some workouts and some yoga. Thanks for joining me, friends. Bye.